Hello, everyone. Welcome to another day in the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and I am here to give you a recap of your day five action. We're also going to look ahead to your day six action. This is Phil from Phil's Corner. I do hope you've had a wonderful night and you're about to have a wonderful day today. Now, we have just survived Drawmageddon yesterday. Saw the only day in I think the past 60 odd years, 68 years or so, where we had four matches in a single day all end in a draw. That was amazing feats from all. And it's not like they were all dull, nil-nil, unentertaining draws. There was only one nil-nil draw in the day, and it was probably the most compelling draw that I have ever watched. I've never ever been so happy for a nil-nil than when I saw Cape Verde defy the odds and Vozinha roll back time on his World Cup, on the country's World Cup debut. Him at the age of 40, winning man of the match by shutting out Spain nil-nil, the defending European champions. It felt like a win. I felt I was so happy for them watching them do what they did. Yeah, they didn't win the game. It wasn't technically an upset because in the draw it was a shock for sure, but it was one of the most compelling games of football you'll ever watch. And I know that Spain is notorious for not actually winning their opening game at the World Cup. I think they only won like 3-15 or I think 3-17, something along those lines. But it's still impressive, man. It's still really impressive that Cape Verde won their first game, especially looking at how Caracas went up against a European juggernaut and how they did in their first game. And we saw about how their goal was historic. This clean sheet is just as historic, is just as good as that goal. Was Vozinha was absolutely tremendous in that game. He was world class, deserved man of the match, deserved point for Cape Verde. Their all out defense from Grabinja's side was absolutely fantastic. And it's not always sorry, Babista side. It's not always everyone's cup of tea watching a team defend the whole game, and I don't like it really. But when there's clearly when there's the power differential between the two teams, like this is the second team in the power rank in FIFA's rankings. This is the second place team against the 67th place team. That is a massive gap. So you do what you must to survive. And not only did they survive, they thrived. Will they do well for the rest of the tournament? I don't know. We'll see. Spain will probably go on and battle the next couple of teams. I know they didn't start with Lamine and Nico Williams and all this, whatever excuse you can give, but they came on, they forced their hand, and just wasn't good enough. But either way, now we move on to the first game of the Group G between Belgium and Egypt. A highly contested, very physical, very tactical game. The Belgians, I thought, were the better team for the majority of the game. Really, it's the first half. Egypt definitely had the better of the way, more chances, and Imam Ashur scored the opening goal in 20 minutes, assisted by Mo Salah, because that's what he does. He gets those assists. It was a beautiful finish. Really, it needs to be to beat Thibaut Courtois. Mo Salah would tell him how hard it is to beat Thibaut Courtois. It was a great finish in the first half. Like he used all his finishing skills in the first, because in the second half he had an even better chance to extend the lead. He blasted it wide for a throw in. It was You have to see it to believe it. It was crazy. But other than that, Kevin De Bruyne led the Belgians to a hard fought draw. He hit the post for a wonderful free kick. They were probing. They brought on Big Rom for the last half hour, 33 minutes or so, and while he instant impact, instant impact. We all thought he scored, but it turned out to be a Muhammad Hani goal. Unfortunately, deflecting into his own goal. That is, it was a good showing from both teams, I think, in what they seem to want to do. Belgium were poor to start, but I think they finished off a bit strong. They shouldn't be too disheartened. Again, it's just the first game in a group which they should still be favored to win. But now jumping to the back to the other group, Group H, we then had Saudi Arabia play Uruguay. This match went exactly as how you probably would have thought it was going to go, with Uruguay with a lot of the ball and trying to probe and do this and do that and just not have a lot go for them. Really, they tried. It wasn't the most entertaining game, if I'm being honest. At least that's how I found it. But it definitely became more interesting once Saudi Arabia scored right before the halftime. A goal from Al Amri to put Saudi Arabia 1-0 up at the break. Uruguay kept on going and going and going, and they finally got the equalizer in the 80th minute thanks to Araujo. Both goalkeepers decided to play a game of hot potato with the ball instead of clearing it outside of the box or holding on to the ball. They both decided, you know what, I'm gonna do my best to make Andre Onana look like a competent goalkeeper by just patting it back into the box and into the opposition to tap in and score. The Saudi goalkeeper was actually that was horrendous. Not only did he palm the ball back into danger, he then subsequently decided to move out of the way of where the shot went. If he just covered his near post, Saudi Arabia probably wins that game. They definitely weren't going to score that goal. Just it's to be a keeper. Not everyone can be a Vozinha. That much is for sure. That game ended 1-1. And then the last game of the day, a very highly emotionally charged game, Iran versus New Zealand. I said Australia gave me hope for how New Zealand would play in that side of the world. I didn't know that they would be that entertaining to watch, really. They were just that good. Just that good. You see what I did there? Okay. Elijah just scored a brace. The Motherwell the Motherwell player did exceptionally well in both of his goals. The first finish, really good control and a lovely little volley into the top corner. That was wonderful finish, roof I should say. And another the second goal is just beautiful. One touch team goal, one touch football, bam, 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 in on goal, into it lifts over both the keeper and the defender. That was lovely football, really, from the Kiwis. All Blacks? Are the Kiwis Australia? Whoever. New Zealand were absolutely fantastic. Um, in those two goals which they scored, Iran gave them the game, and I think after the equalizer, Iran went behind twice and came back both times. You could see it in the face of Ramin Reziana, sorry, Ramin when he scored his first goal. You could really see the emotion on his face as he was taking it all in, scoring a goal at the World Cup, all the contention in the air between the Iranians and the Americans. They were playing at SoFi at the Los Angeles Stadium. That was so they were at the heart of it. So you could imagine just how charged they were. And then Mohammed Mohabi equalized in the second half for a wonderful header, putting it in a place where no keeper could reach. And yeah, those were big goals for Iran. And I thought they could have gone on to win it. They were definitely the better team towards the end of the game. They finished stronger. This was the most entertaining of all the matches yesterday, outside of Spain and Cape Verde, just because of the which was just as emotional, but it was just as thing. But this one was more interesting for the different feel because you could tell like both teams were really trying to go for it, both teams trying to win it. New Zealand had Chris Wood. Before this game, his record in international football was 45 goals in 90 games. That's a goal every 2 games. That's incredible, even if he plays for New Zealand. And he had a chance towards the end, had the which went straight to the keeper, but hey man, it was entertaining. It was a great game. That was a great game of football. Well worth the watch, and hopefully one would have stayed up to watch the game. Started at 9 p.m. Eastern, of course. But no, we hope that today's slate of football will be just as entertaining. Speaking of today's slate of football, once again we have four intriguing matches of play. Um, France versus Senegal is gonna be the highlight of all those games, and it just so happens to be the first match of the day at the New York, New Jersey Stadium. France looking to avenge the last time they played Senegal in an opening match when they were world champions. Of course, in 2002, Senegal beat them 1-0 back in the Japan and South Korea World Cup. But in this case, they're not world champions because we all know what happened at the 2022 World Cup. But either way, France will be looking to start off strong. The tournament favorites in many people's eyes. We shall see how they get along against Senegal. Senegal, who are the African champions in the eyes of many, not mine, of course, but still a very, very good team. It should be a highly entertaining game. Physical for the physical campaign probably be brought by the Senegalese, whilst the French are gonna go look for some attacking flair and look for the talisman killing Mbappe. But even though they actually have a Ballon d'Or winner, this squad, which is not him, and a potential Ballon d'Or winner if Bayern had done well in the Champions League, of course, in Michael Olise, Ousmane Dembele should also be highly touted in this game as he's the guy who won the Ballon d'Or. So we'll see how they get along. I predict them to win. Senegal, I'll give a goal, maybe two. 4-2. 4-2 win for France. I think they'll have a bit too much for them, just like Norway will probably have too much for Iraq. I don't know much about Iraq and how well they play. I do know that the Boston Stadium is about to be infiltrated by a cyborg, as Erling Haaland is going to be there to do his damnedest to score as many goals as he can. I don't know how many World Cups he has in the future. Well, they might increase it to 68, so he probably will be back for more. But this is a man who has more goals than appearances for his national team. So I'm gonna give Norway the edge here so that they can see how well they can penetrate Iraq's defensive structure. Now, let's not forget what happened yesterday with Spain versus Cape Verde. Let's not forget about that. That could happen today with Norway at Iraq. I don't expect it to happen. I don't think Spain has a finisher as lethal as Erling Haaland, and I believe Norway have the means. Say what you want about Martin Odegaard, I think he's a fantastic player, and he's definitely capable of creating some chances for Norway. I don't see Iraq scoring. I see Norway taking this 2-0, 1-0 at the worst, but 2-0 for them. And then at Arrowhead, 9 p.m., we have the Iraq Norway game is at 6 p.m. and the Senegal France game is at 3 p.m., by the way. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Arrowhead, Kansas City Stadium, Argentina versus Algeria, the defending champions, starting us off. They lost their first group match at the last World Cup to Saudi Arabia. I see them losing this match as well. Lionel Messi's team, very good team. It's not just Lionel Messi and some people who are just running around for him. Although it may seem like that, but they do have a very good team, a great group of players. Julian Alvarez is here. They have. He can take some of the load off of Messi and the others. I think Di Maria retired, so he's not going. His impact will not be seen, but they do have a great means in that squad do Argentina. However, I still see this one going towards Algeria. They have to find a way to get past Emi Martinez and that stout defense of Romero and Lucha Martinez of Man United. But no, you still have Riyad Mahrez. You still have oh what that guy he played for Lyon at some point. I'm pretty sure. Awar, I think that's him. They have options, and I think they're gonna go in with a stout defensive mindset. Argentina notoriously starts slow as well in World Cups sometimes. 2010, I think they almost got eliminated, no, when they were in trouble in their group. But yeah, I can see Algeria just pulling off a sneaky 1-0 win, just pulling off an upset. it won't define the whole campaign for Argentina. They'll probably still go through and still do well, but I have Algeria coming out of this group as winners. And with that being said, the last game will come from their group will be Austria versus Jordan at midnight at in San Francisco. So 9 p.m. local time. Austria versus Jordan. Again, expect a stout defensive display. We will see how well Jordan does. I don't think they'll do. I don't think they'll do too much in this game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can see Austria winning this one by 3 or 4 goals. 3-0 Austria. I'll give them. I'll give Jordan some bit of a chance. But that, guys, will be the end of the video for today. Hopefully, we're not going to be treated with a bunch of draws. If they're entertaining, I won't complain too much, but I'm sure that we'll get a bunch of wins for today. I just realized I didn't predict a draw, but that's fine. There won't be any today. I promise. We filled our quota for the week. And that being said, everyone, thank you so very much for joining me once again today. If you do like the video, please don't forget to drop a like, a subscribe, and share the video. Leave a comment on what you like and what you don't like. All are welcomed. Thank you so very much for staying to the end. God bless you. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day.